Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good day to Dr. Nur Ashkin. So we are from group 3. We're going to present about our final project, which is the title is remediation of contaminated soil by using phytoremediation and soil washing technique. So we are consist of 5 members, which is myself, Muhammad Sanudin bin Muhammad Kamal, CF190125, Muhammad Lufi Fitri bin Muhammad Hassan, CF190137, Lu Chunting, CF190035, Siti Fatimah binti Mazlan, CF190032, and the last one is Wong Chan Fai, CF19000123.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Fatimah binti Mazlan. Today we will talk about contamination site remediation. So what is it? So since the oil and gas industry are now taking environmental pollution caused by the oil more seriously, they are always looking for effective solution to this problem. Urbanization and industrialization, in addition to population pressure on the limited natural resources, it is putting a great deal of stress on the global environment. So the difficulties are made worse by the dramatic shift in people habit and way of life. So what is site remediation? Site remediation is the process of removing polluted or contaminated soil, sediment, surface water, or groundwater to reduce the impact on people or the environment. A polluted site can have a serious impact on human health, water supplies, ecosystem, and even a building structure. So, which it is why there are various safeguards now in place to deal with contamination issue. So, there are a range of regulatory systems in place that require remedial action to be undertaken should there be a pollution due to environmental incident or past historical. So technology or method of remediation, okay, some of it are soil washing, thermal desorption, land farming, phytoremediation.
Very commonly today I will present about objective remediation technique for the gas online for the contaminated soil. And the first is provide an overview of the technique available for testing of soil for petrol contamination and discuss the frequently used method and some of the more experimental method available. And the second is provide the pro and con of the various technique and cooperation of the laboratory and on-site test. And the last is brief the discuss basic equipment for quality assurance within a soil testing program.
And now, my name is Muhammad Fitri bin Muhammad Raslan, CF190137. And first of all, we will take a look into the cause of fuel leak. First is the quality of installation. There are 90% of newly constructed or renovated sites have minor leaks from pipe and fitting that need to be fit before concrete is applied. And then the second is the incompatible material, where using components that are unsuitable such as ethanol should not be used in a fiberglass resin tank since it may cause the integrity of the material to be compromised. The third is the spill. The spill is happen because of the overfilling underground tank, happen during the delivery spill or due to the pump leaks. And the external cause is the fourth reason, where the tank or pipe puncture from exterior work such as drilling, the ground movement due to the rock, and lastly the movement of tank by groundwater. And now, how we identify the fuel leak. There are some research that they found out that the two algorithm can use to find the fuel leak because it have consistent with the EPA SIR standard. There are 95% probability of detection and 5% risk of a false alarm. It achieved a 15.56% rejection rate, 93.11% chance of detection, and 0.73 likelihood of false alarm. And now we will look to the bioremediation. The term biological refers to both the remediation, the process of fixing the problem, and tiny organisms like fungus, algae, and bacteria. Bioremediation is heavily involved in the degradation, eradication, immobilization, or detoxification of various chemical waste and physically dangerous elements from the environment. It used to eliminate or neutralize an environment contaminant through a metabolic process. Bioremediation can be divided into two categories, which is in situ, on-site, and ex situ, off-site bioremediation. In situ bioremediation involves the introduction of microorganisms to the contaminated site, while ex situ bioremediation involves the removal of contaminated soil or water to a treatment facility. And now, the phytoremediation is one of the bioremediation process. It's using plants and related soil bacteria to lessen pollutant concentration or their hazardous effect on the environment. Phytoremediation is commonly causing greater soil damage, hence, the phytoremediation of polluted areas should ideally take no longer than 10 years. It is a cost-effective, sustainable, and environmentally friendly method of remediation that harnesses the natural ability of plants to absorb, degrade, and neutralize pollutant. In areas where requirements for contamination level are stricter, phytoremediation can also be utilized to minimize the leaching of toxin through soil and so preserve groundwater. Some examples of phytoremediation include using willow trees to remove heavy metal from contaminated soil and using duckweed to absorb nutrients from wastewater. In conclusion, a developing technique named bioremediation can be used in combination with existing physical and chemical treatment techniques to effectively handle a variety of environmental contaminants. In order to sustain the efficient and effective operation and monitoring of a bioremediation process, efforts must be made to create a synergetic interaction between the environmental impact on the fate and behavior of environmental contaminants. Phytoremediation can be used to address a wide range of contaminants, including heavy metal, pesticide, and nutrient, and it can be applied in a variety of settings, including industrial sites, agricultural lands, and urban areas. As research in this field continues to advance, phytoremediation is likely to become an increasingly important tool in the effort to remediate polluted environment and protect human health and the environment. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi. So my name is Muhammad Sandin Muhammad Kamal. I'm going to continue to the second technique for the soil contaminated remediation, which is the second technique is soil washing. Which this soil washing is one of the physical method that can be used as a technique to remediate these contaminated soil. So these physiochemical interactions between these soil solid particles and the solution in which they are suspended is the basis form for the theory of the soil washing. The general idea behind soil washing is that contaminants are more likely to stick to the fine-grained soils, which in turn are more likely to stick to the coarse-grained soils through adhesion and compaction. Next, these coarse-grained soils can be separated from the contaminated fines by washing with water or possibly additive. This soil washing involves several physiochemical processes, including desorption, compression, dissolution or solubilization, and oxidation reduction. This soil desorption takes place during the washing process when the wash water and any additive is combined with the soil. Desorption is the process by which contaminants are removed from the surface of soil particles. Okay, next, this is all the process that will happen through the soil washing techniques, which is the first step. It will excavate the contaminated area, and then this kind of soil pile that contaminated will be excavated, and the soil will handling to the pre-treatment. Okay, after the pre-treatment, they will go into the separation, which is the separation is separate to the fines cost grain cost fine grain soil and the coarse grain soil, so that basically in fines there is contaminated soil that need to be separated to the coarse. Okay, after the coarse was separated, we'll go to the clean soil fraction. Okay, this part I will explain more details about the process of the soil washing. Okay, for the pre-treatment, in the preparation of mechanical washing, the excavated soil must first undergo the pre-treatment technique, which is after this procedure, the soil is ready to be washed as it is uniform in texture, which is below 2 inches in diameter. Okay, for this pre-treatment, there are 3 techniques used for this kind of technique, which is the first one is cupping, and then mechanical screening, and the last one is jigging and tampling. The excessively large materials can include anything from building rubble to gravels and rocks of various sizes. The crushing and grinding may be required to reduce the size of these materials. Okay, after the pre-treatment, they will undergo the separation method, which is the soil is ready to be washed. In the soil scrubbing unit, as coarse and fine grain materials need to separated. Okay, for the coarse grain soils, which is likely not contaminated, it is removed between 63 microns to 74 microns of size by using mechanical screening. while fine-grained soils removed by hydrogen. So basically, this removal by hydrogen was shown in this figure where it needs to go to drum washer, and then the soil need to go to the drum washer, and then the cost fraction but we will remove by using this trommel. Trommel is one of the mechanical screening, and then and then the fine grain soil will go to the stir strength in the hydroclones method, and then at the end of the day it will produce the clean product that will be used to the site again. Okay, as this sure, this is all the treatment that will going through by all the specific ghost brain, fine grain, and the water treatment. So for the ghost brain treatment, they will go under three treatment, which is the surface hydration, acid or base treatment for solubilization, and the last one is specific solving for dissolving particular contaminants. As for ground treatment, this green only go to the process of add the chemical additive to clean the soils. Okay, so for water treatment, these three is examples for the treatment for the water itself, which is neutralization, flocculation, and dewatering. Last but not least, I will explain about the advantages and the disadvantages for this remediation soil technique, which is soil washing. Okay, for the for the advantages first, the first advantage that can be observed is the amount of soil that needs to be treated or disposed decrease. It will bring to the reduction of cost of washing and making the process was very efficient. Next, when the conditions are optimal, soil washing can remove as much as 90% of the pollutants that contains in the contaminated soil. Then the large volume of soil that is not contaminated after washing can be reused as backfill at the site. Next, go to the disadvantages. The presence of the additive chemicals that I said need to be used for fine grain treatment. The treated wastewater may be difficult and expensive to produce. Then the small amounts of contaminated sludge may be left over at the end of the process and will need to be treated further or disposed of elsewhere. And the last one for the disadvantages, the cleaning equipment that release pollutants into the air can raise operating costs and decrease customer interest.
Hi, my name is Wong Chan Fai, matrix number CF190123, and I'm going to demonstrate the conclusions of this project. So in conclusions, petroleum sludge is one of the most significant hazardous solid waste in terms of environmental contamination issues. Over the years, urbanizations and industrializations are the mainly root cause it leads, especially the improper treatments or the human errors which cause. It commonly generated from the process of drilling, exploitations, transportations, refining, and storage of crude oil. Contaminated sites can pose a considerable threat to public health and the environment. Therefore, remediation techniques are implemented to reduce the concentrations of contaminated at the sites and restore the ecosystem. Phytoremediation is proposed as a cost-effective plant-based approach of environmental remediation that takes advantage of the ability of plants to concentrate elements and compounds from the environmental and to toxify various components. Plants can be easily grown without much effort and also easily motivated. Toxic heavy metals cannot be degraded, but organic pollutants can be and are generally the major target for phytoremediation. And that's all for me. Thank you.